This is Renegade Femme for the Revolution. I am your host, Zuleika. I've been thinking a lot about memories lately, not the big, life-changing ones, but the quiet, fleeting moments that stay with us, like the weightless joy of letting a kite catch the breeze. It's such a simple thing, but it holds so much. Freedom, possibility, and a sense of wonder we often forget as life moves on. Memories like that have a way of pulling you back, reminding you of what's possible. They nudge you to ask, what brings me joy? What do I truly desire? And maybe it's not about finding something new, but remembering what's been with us all along, waiting to be rediscovered. As I sit with these questions, I realize how often we dismiss the things that make us come alive. We compromise, we settle, and we forget. But those small moments, the ones that feel like nothing and everything at the same time, are calling us to something greater. Memories have a way of reminding us what matters, the simplicity, the joy, the connection. And isn't that what we're all chasing? Moments like that, where life feels full and free. What is your life's blueprint? That's the question Dr. Martin Luther King asked over 50 years ago. And it's one I've been sitting with lately. It's such a simple question, but also incredibly complex, because let's be honest, how many of us actually have a blueprint? How many of us are truly living by design rather than just getting by? Maybe this is a moment to remember, to think back to a time when we felt free, grounded, or in love with the possibilities around us. When I first heard those words, what is your life's blueprint? They woke something up in me. I started reflecting on the choices I've made, the desires I've buried, and the compromises I've accepted. And I wondered, what if I stopped compromising? What if I stopped shrinking and started listening to the whispers of what I truly want? What if these feelings I've dismissed as just feelings are actually guiding lights? Today, I want to share this journey with you, the messy, beautiful process of creating a life blueprint. We'll explore the pillars Dr. King described, the tools I've found, and the deeper question of what it means to honor your desires. Because maybe, like me, you're ready to stop settling for good enough and start building something extraordinary. Dr. King's speech, delivered to a group of students in 1967, is one of the most profound messages I've ever heard. He talked about 3 pillars for building a strong life blueprint, and they feel just as relevant now as they did then. Number 1, belief in your worth. He said, number 1 in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your worth, and your own somebodyness. Love that word. He said, don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody. Hearing that made me think about all the times I've doubted my worth, times I've settled for less than I deserved, whether in relationships, opportunities, or even how I've spoken to myself. But believing in your worth is more than a concept. It's a practice. It's waking up every day and choosing not to shrink. It's saying no to what doesn't align and yes to the fullness of who you are. 2, commitment to excellence. Dr. King said, whatever your life's work is, do it so well that the living, the dead, and the unborn could do it no better. Excellence isn't about perfection. It's about showing up fully for what matters. And lately, I've been asking myself, what does excellence look like for me? How do I want to show up in my work, my relationships, my creativity? One of my personal commitments has been to connect with those I love. And while I won't name names, let's just say that those moments of connections where you show up fully, vulnerably, and authentically are their own form of excellence. What about you? What's one area where you could stretch yourself towards excellence? And 3, dedication to service. Dr. King believed that our lives should have a purpose bigger than ourselves. He asked, what are you doing for others? That question lingers with me, especially as I think about this podcast and the way I want to impact the people who listen. But service doesn't always have to be grand. Sometimes it's as simple as reaching out to someone, sharing a kind word, or offering your unique gifts to uplift someone else. And in those small moments, I've learned we find a deep sense of purpose. But here's where it gets personal. Building a blueprint isn't just about pillars or frameworks. It's about desires, the ones we've ignored, the ones we've downplayed, and the ones we told ourselves are too much. For so much of my life, I've compromised on my desires. I've shrunk to fit into spaces that weren't made for me. But lately, I've been asking myself, what if my desires aren't too much? What if they're exactly right? What if the things I want, the joy, the connection, the freedom, aren't selfish, but sacred? One of the tools that's helped me honor these desires is the book Designing Your Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. It's grounded in the idea that life isn't something you figure out, it's something you design, and it starts with asking better questions. The two authors are both designers and educators at Stanford, took the principles of design thinking and applied them to life itself. Their book focuses on 4 pillars: work, play, love, and health. These are the core areas that shape a meaningful life. What I love about this approach is that it doesn't ask you to overhaul everything at once. It's about making small, intentional changes that move you closer to what you want. This book came into my life at the perfect time, through a group experience that brought these ideas to life. Sitting in a room with other people, exploring these pillars together, was a reminder that we're all searching for clarity and connection, and that's okay. It's part of this process. Some of the key ideas from the book include reframing problems. The book teaches you to reframe problems in a way that opens new possibilities. For example, instead of asking, "What's my one true passion?" you could ask, "What's something I can explore that energizes me right now?" Another idea is prototyping your life. This is about trying small experiments, whether it's shadowing someone in a career you're curious about, taking a new class, or even just starting a hobby. It's not about committing to one path forever. It's about learning by doing. And my favorite, building your compass. This means identifying your values and purpose and letting them guide your decisions. It's about creating a life that aligns with what matters most to you. For me, this framework has been a game changer. It's helped me see my life not as one big problem to solve, but as a series of design challenges. Y'all know your girl's a designer, right? And that shift has been so freeing. Through these tools, I've been asking myself some big questions. What are my desires? What are my non-negotiables? What does joy look like for me? And how can I bring more of it into my life? I'm still figuring it out, and honestly, it's messy sometimes. But what I'm realizing is that designing your life isn't about having all the answers. It's about being curious, experimenting, taking small steps towards the life you want. Think about it. When you remember a time you felt free, connected, or alive, isn't that tied to something you desire now? Maybe it's a sense of simplicity or a feeling of being deeply seen and understood. Those memories don't just remind us of what we've had, they show us what we still long for. And that's the beauty of designing your life. It's not about reinventing yourself from scratch. It's about revisiting those moments of joy, uncovering what they reveal about your desires, and finding ways to bring more of that into your life now. Memories have this incredible way of grounding us, don't they? The small, fleeting moments we hold on to. They're often the ones that reflect what truly makes us happy. They're not just snapshots of the past. They're clues, little breadcrumbs leading us back to our joy. Memories, joy, and desires are foundational elements, the pieces that guide how we design our lives. Dr. King gave us a powerful framework for building a life of purpose. He said that every blueprint should include 3 things: a belief in your worth, a commitment to excellence, and a dedication to serving others. These pillars aren't just ideas, they're actions. When we honor our worth, when we pursue what matters with excellence, and when we show up for others, we're not just living, we're building something extraordinary. So take those memories, the ones that make your heart lighter and your vision clear, and let them guide you. Let them remind you of your own worth, inspire you to strive for excellence, and move you toward a life of service and connection. Your blueprint doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to be yours. It needs to reflect your joy, your desires, and your non-negotiables. Start where you are. Revisit the moments that light you up. Draw from King's pillars and begin designing the life that feels right for you. Just like a kite needs a steady hand to soar, your life needs intention to truly take flight. Thank you for being here with me, for sharing in this journey. Until next time, keep building, keep dreaming, and remember, you are the architect of your life.